Welcome to hour number 3, our third and final on this Friday, live right here on the early line on SportsGrid. He is Donnie, I am Ben. One more hour to go to get you set for your weekend all around the sports landscape. Combine weekend continues in Indianapolis. NBA action on the hardwood on this Friday night, and of course, a huge weekend in college basketball. Our second to last, our penultimate regular season weekend at the high major level. Teams trying to stay on the right side of the bubble, trying to improve that seed line in the big dance, or position themselves for a conference tournament spot in a regular season championship race. Plenty to go through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in college hoops. DRS should be a great third and final hour.
Absolutely, it should be. And by the way, we are going to dip our toes into the water. The ASUN, which we've been promoting for the past 2 weeks, getting off conference tournament weekend. They will start on Sunday. Yeah, there's a favorite I like, but also there is a team at over 10-1 to win that conference tournament that could be getting a key player back from injury and something you need to watch out for. How about that?
There is a team that Donnie has already profited on the last few days in Lipscomb. That will be that number 1 seed in the ASUN Conference tourney. We'll talk all about it in just a little bit. But DRS, we start this third and final hour by hearing from the people. It is the stretch run of this NBA regular season. We have been fully back in the association after the All-Star break for a week now. Last Thursday, everybody got back in play 8 days from that point. Who's the best team in the NBA? A rather simple question that should lead to a much larger conversation. We do that here to start off hour 3 and fade the public. Who is the best team in the NBA? At SportsGrid on Twitter. We gave you 3 options. We gave you the 3 teams that have reached the 40-win benchmark so far this season. That would be the Celtics, the Cavaliers, and the Thunder. Cleveland, best overall record. Oklahoma City, best record in the Western Conference. Boston, the other team at 40-plus wins. And the Celtics, of course, have the pedigree as the reigning NBA champs in those NBA championship favorites. There was also a 4th option, other, and we asked for a reply. Pretty tightly contested, Donnie, among these 3 options with a listed team, but the Celtics do edge out the Fade the Public poll. Nearly 38% of the vote backing Boston, 31.5% or so on OKC. In Cleveland, despite the best record, does come in last. But we've got a lot of replies there as well, including a guy named Alex with a very long username. Give me the team with the greatest ball player in the world. That would be the Denver Nuggets, Hollywood Hernandez. The Celtics are just lollygagging until the playoffs, which is kind of funny, Donnie, because we've had that conversation as well. The Celtics don't seem to be overly impressive this season, and yet they're 42-17, one of those 3 teams right now at 40-plus wins, and they have 42 and are still the short NBA championship favorites. Which way did you vote in the Fade the Public poll?
Well, let's get a little preamble here at first. Like, there are some people listening right now at 10:05 Eastern that are already in the office right now. There are some people on the West Coast probably making their coffee, getting their day started before they head into the office, which a lot of times is a casual Friday, which means maybe you don't have to wear a suit, you don't have to wear the jacket. You can maybe wear a collared shirt, maybe a nice set of khakis, maybe some nice sneaks into the office. And why are you talking about this? Feels like that's the type of poll we got today. Who is the best team in the NBA? Was our poll on a Friday. Who made this? I need answers. Who made this poll up and who mailed this in for over the weekend at this point? Like, I need yeah, come on now.
Okay, go ahead. You take it. You want to keep going, you keep going.
No, I don't think I need to take it any further at this point. I picked the Cavs because, it's my boys, but who is the best NBA team on? Like, what's next on Monday? Who is the best NFL team when the Eagles already won the Super Bowl? What's next? How hard is this?
Wow. I mean, that's kind of slanderous for our guy, Joe Frieso, our producer extraordinaire, who is the brains behind the Fade the Public poll question each and every day. I kind of agree with Frieso. We've got a big game in the NBA tonight, of course, between those top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference. That would be the Celtics and the Cavs in Beantown, just a 2.5-point spread. We'll talk about that game in just a little bit. The Thunder in action tonight as well. 12.5-point favorite against the Atlanta Hawks. I guess it didn't do it for DRS, didn't move the needle.
No.
You know, Donnie was having a great football Friday. Donnie would rather have had who should be the number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward or Abdul Carter.
No, we probably should have. We probably should have put the Academy Awards in there. Like, which one of these movies should win Best Picture? Because if you want to recap again, like I've been doing research, we can recap again in hour number 3. How about that?
You have been doing research. That is for sure. Okay, so Donnie wouldn't have wanted number 1 overall pick because we already did that. Who's going to run the fastest 40-yard dash this weekend at the Combine? Would have been DRS's preferred FTP
or a who he play for. Or just like a who he play for. Like, give me some of these prospects in the draft to see if I can actually guess, and we'll put them up there of who would be the fastest guy. And I'd be like, I think this guy would win it, and you would say like, oh, he's not even a real player. So there, I failed the exam.
Yeah, but it's a fade the public. We would have had to ask the public first, and then get your assessment on it.
Yeah. And I would have voted, even if I, you know me, even if I don't even know the players in the game, I'll vote and I'll put my opinion out there, even though it won't be based on anything. I love opinions.
All right, fair enough. DRS can do that. All right, so as we look at the best records right now, again, 3 teams at the 40-win benchmark or more, and we still have a couple of teams trying to hit that. They would need a couple of wins to do so. The Grizzlies, the Knicks, and the Nuggets. The Cavs have the best record at 48-10. They have a game advantage on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, the Thunder are the team in the Western Conference component of this. Of course, the Celtics out east along with the Cavaliers. A huge game tonight inside TD Garden. To have the best record right now, minus 130, the Cavs have the best number. Minus 120, though, Oklahoma City, of course, not all that far behind. For the Celtics to catch either team, and they're, as you can see there, 5.5 games behind even Oklahoma City, a full 6 games behind, or 6.5 rather, behind the Cleveland Cavaliers is a 65-1 price. It is interesting, Donnie, when you take that into effect for the playoffs, because we have talked about it at length. There is very little chance the Celtics can catch the Cavaliers for that number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. If those two teams were to see each other in the Eastern Conference Finals, a potential preview tonight in Boston, the Celtics will not have home floor advantage as they did last year on their way to winning an NBA championship. And if the Celtics were even able to beat the Cavaliers, of which they would be projected to do in that best-of-7 series, the Celtics would not have home court advantage to win an NBA championship. That would be Oklahoma City. All of those things will be impactful by the time we reach the postseason.
Yes, and the NBA, understand this, which we tell you repeatedly, is the only sport that operates this way in the betting markets. You don't see this in the NFL. Hey, best record in the NFL, yeah, but 4th or 3rd in the overall odds to win the Super Bowl. Like, no, they're probably the best team because they're 13-2 through 15 weeks. Same thing in hockey, same thing in Major League Baseball. You get the point where in basketball, though, it's not a one-off once you get to the tournament. Like, right now, if I asked you, Ben, like, who is the best college basketball team out there? You might say Auburn and or Duke. Oh, look, 1 and 2 right there and very close together on who's actually going to win it based on the odds. But you look at the Boston Celtics, who don't have the best record and are games behind the Cavaliers, but it's a plus 175 and a 7-1 price point difference here. It's not plus 125 and plus 155 because in the NBA, it's like who's getting to the playoffs, who is healthy, and who has the pedigree on winning. And that's the Boston Celtics. So I like the Cavaliers because I do think that up-and-coming team have a chip on the shoulder. They're not getting respect despite having that great record, and I agree. But I can't fault anybody, Ben, that's going to tell me, what are you kidding me, Donnie? If the Celtics starting 5 is there, their bench is healthy, they're going to be the best team in the NBA playoffs. I really can't argue with that because just based on talent alone and what they did last year, they've shown they can get the job done.
And they have been the favorites all year long. They remain the favorites right now, despite the fact that Oklahoma City is only a quarter behind. And we still consider what the Celtics have done this year slightly underwhelming, and they have 42 wins. Huge game tonight in Cleveland. We'll get you set for it up next here on the Early Line. Some really marquee matchups on this Friday evening slate around the association, including a potential Eastern Conference Finals preview. In fact, by the odds right now, this should be the matchup we see in the ECF. Who is going to have home floor advantage? More than likely, it's the Cavaliers. Tonight, the game is in Boston, inside TD Garden. The Celtics and the Cavs for a 4th and final time in the regular season. Boston has won 2 of the first 3. The first and the third are most recent at the beginning of February. Cleveland was victorious back in early December. that one in the land. The Celtics both 2-1 straight up and against their spread in the 3 games against the Cavaliers so far. But a very short number tonight, only 2.5 in favor of the C's. You see that total there on the right? It's 233.5 now on the FanDuel Sportsbook. DRS, a marquee matchup inside TD Garden. What's the play?
I love it. I love this game. It's fantastic. You know I love myself some Cleveland Cavaliers. But since there is Oscar Sunday here that we're having, let's go back to another film called The Bronx Tale, where it feels like to me where the bikers come into the bar as the Cleveland Cavaliers, mess around a little bit too much. They lock the doors and tell them, now you can't leave at this point. I think this is a Celtics night tonight to understand where we're going to be meeting in the playoffs. We know that. The tone is going to be set right now that, yes, you have the better record, and maybe we're not all that focused right now as the Celtics until we get to the playoffs, but this game absolutely means something. It's probably been a while for the Celtics to line up in a basketball game where they actually felt it was must win. But understand this. The FanDuel Sportsbook here in New Jersey opened this line at -3.5 towards the Celtics. It now sits live at 2.5. So the public is buying into Cleveland. And there's been no bigger Cleveland backer than me on this show repeatedly backing and saying, I like him in this spot. This line speaks to me. And even though this line is actually speaking to me as a stone cold Cavaliers line, I think the spot is right for the Celtics. And as I said before, in a regular season where a team won the championship the year before, there's not many big games in the regular season. They're waiting for the playoffs. I think this is one night on a Friday in Boston that Boston has the full attention on an opponent, and that's the Cleveland Cavaliers. Should be a great game, but I'm laying the 2.5 with the Celtics tonight.
Listen, the Cleveland Cavaliers are the best team in the NBA. They are 48-10 as we presented to you to start off this third and final hour. They are the best cover team in the NBA as well, both as a favorite and in their very few games as an underdog this year. 4 games for the Cavaliers booked as a dog. They are 3-1 against the spread. They have won outright twice in those 3 covers. They were a dog in the first matchup against Boston. The Celtics won that game by 3, but Cleveland covered as a 6.5-point dog, and a total of 234.5 did go over. They were a favorite in the second game in early December at home against the C's. They won that game by 4 as a slight 1.5 favorite. A total of 230 did stay under. That's one of 3 games this year for Boston, booked as an underdog as well. Of course, the C's have not been an underdog frequently. And the last time that Cleveland was an underdog was a very long time ago, middle of January, against Oklahoma City. In the most recent game against the Celtics, that Boston won outright, the C's were a small dog as well. 2 of our 3 games between these teams this year have gone under. But, Donnie, you are right. In terms of a regular season game, outside of the NBA Cup and in-season competition, outside of the postseason, this will have that feel, at least it should, of a postseason atmosphere tonight inside TD Garden. Again, the Cavaliers are sitting pretty. They have a 6.5 game lead over the Celtics for that top spot. But perception, Donnie, is the issue for Cleveland right now. They have the best record. They should have home floor advantage throughout the entirety of the Eastern Conference playoffs and are still booked well behind the Celtics to win the Eastern Conference crown. Boston well in to minus money. Does a Cavaliers win tonight outright change that? We shall see. But Donnie is not expecting that to be the case. Boston could show that proven playoff pedigree tonight, albeit in the regular season.
Yeah, and we're looking at the anticipated starting lineup tonight, and they're all there. Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Kristaps Porzingis in that starting lineup. But you're right about this one thing, because public perception does mean a lot. And very rarely, like a regular season game in the NFL, like, hey, Kansas City is going to knock off Buffalo. And that's going to shift things because you get the tie-breaking advantage. It's close. The playoffs are near. It's not necessarily that way in the NBA as we are winding down the season. But I do believe that on a Friday game, let's just say Cleveland goes into Boston and wins this game by double digits, we're not still talking about a 7-1 price for them to win the championship. Like, that is going to move. But I do think, again, as I state, it's not really an X's and O's matchup. I just think it's one of those games for Boston where they can lock into championship mode tonight and see what they have. Is that a guarantee they win? No. And as I told you already, 3.5 down to 2.5. The public is buying to Cleveland, and rightfully so. Cleveland, nobody's thinking that, oh, wow, I'm so surprised Cleveland went in and beat Boston in Boston. No, the expectations are they are supposed to do that from their side. But for me, Ben, I just look at Boston and say, you know what? Attention is here tonight. Focus is on Boston. Let's handle our business and send that message to when we do see you again in the playoffs, we'll do the same thing.
Very few regular season games can move a market drastically. Is the move on the odds for both the Celtics and the Cavs to win the East and an NBA championship going to be drastic after tonight's conclusion? Drastic might not be the right word. But, Donnie, if Boston wins, booked as a minus 150 favorite to win the Eastern Conference crown again tonight, and not only are they proving they are still the best team out east, but they have taken 3 of 4 in the regular season series against the Cavaliers, that's going to be pretty tough to overlook. If the Cavs can even the season set with a victory as a road underdog in Boston, as they will be in a potential Eastern Conference Finals matchup, that also would move the price as well. The Cavaliers plus 270 to win the Eastern Conference crown at this time. Know those numbers right now. Minus 150 for the C's, plus 270 for the Cavs. There's a freaking moth. You see that?
Look at that.
Oh, my God.
Mothman prophecies.
There was
All right.
a moth right in my face. Does the moth mean anything?
I didn't see it.
Inside
I got to go.
TD Garden. Like right there.
I got to go see that.
We'll get the replay in a second. I hit it a little bit. No, it got right in front of my eyes. So at least there was that. We'll talk about a rivalry in Los Angeles between the Lakers and the Clippers and a lot more NBA action. Really good games on this Friday. Next. The battle for Los Angeles tonight. Not in the same building anymore. We go to Crypto.com Arena between the Lakers and the Clippers. What a great slate we have on this Friday. Lakers on the second leg of a back-to-back. Big win last night at home against the T-Wolves. 4 consecutive for L.A., 14 other last 17. And early right now, because this game does not tip for another 12 hours until 10:10 p.m. Eastern time. The Lakers are a 4.5-point home dog. That would say to me, we're not expecting Luka Doncic and LeBron James in the fold tonight, right? That's what that would indicate to me.
Yes. Somebody's sitting out this one. We just don't know who it is, even though in the anticipated starting lineup, it does show Doncic and James, but also understand this. One team rested, one team played last night. I understand it was the same building. You get the point. But for me, that does show the -1 is the opening number in New Jersey for the Lakers to flip by 5 points the other direction.
Yeah.
That probably leads us to believe LeBron James won't play, but sometimes like not a normal back-to-back. Like it is 2 LA teams meeting up in Los Angeles. Like, would this be the game that you sit out? And it's not a true back-to-back in the sense of, hey, we were just in Sacramento last night. Now we're flying home. Like you're in your own building again. I don't know if anybody sits out. So that's a big move from the bookmaker to actually say, no, we know somebody's actually sitting out is what that's saying.
That seems a little bit interesting to me. The Lakers, by the way, have played to the under in 5 consecutive games. Because the Lakers had that rescheduled game last Wednesday, immediately following the All-Star break against Charlotte that they lost, they have played 5 games in the last 8 days. It has been a flurry for L.A. Tonight would be game number 6 in a 9-day span. But still, rivalry game against the Clippers, a back-to-back, but in your own home arena. It wasn't like last night was OT, although contested. What?
Now, there's another reason, Ben, where it's a guy that hasn't been playing the past couple games comes back. And when you're that big of a star, you outshine LeBron and move it. The anticipated starting lineup tonight for your Los Angeles Clippers: James Harden, Chris Dunn, Kawhi Leonard, Ivica Zubac, and Norm Powell. There you go.
That's the move. That's got to be the move.
Yeah,
that is Norm Powell back into the fold. LeBron and Luka could drop 30 and 10 tonight, but if Norm is out there for the Clippers, it really doesn't mean a darn thing, because if Norman Powell is playing, then the Clippers should be in a good spot. DRS 1-3 for LA since the All-Star break. Norman Powell has not played since before the All-Star break. 0-4 against the number. The Clippers, though, as a favorite this year, 18-13 ATS. Norm Powell could be that difference tonight.
Yeah, hopefully is that difference. And by the way, Norm Powell didn't play. So then even if he was supposed to be in the All-Star game, he probably couldn't play in the All-Star game because there was, hey, if LeBron James would have sat out, Norm Powell would have been in there. I don't know what the injury is per se at this point, but they do need that guy back in the lineup because anytime you have a legitimate score and three-point shooting threat, it opens up the court for everybody. And that is a big line move. So everybody expected back for the Clippers, even in the Lakers lineup, still Doncic and LeBron James listed there. We'll see if one of those sits out. But Ben is right. Like, we're analyzing this on an early game where it's like, hey, if both of those starters are in the lineup, are we seeing 2.5s, 1.5s, or back to the Lakers as a favorite? Probably not, since it's a back-to-back, but it is an interesting line move nonetheless.
I would be surprised if Luka Doncic and LeBron James both play, even on the second leg of a back-to-back, and the Lakers do not close as a slight 2.5 point favorite. That would be a drastic move, but that, of course, is where the line stands at this moment. Important game for both LA teams. They play each other again in Crypto.com Arena on Sunday night. The Clippers maintaining a half-game lead over the Warriors for that 6th spot out of the play-in tournament, The Lakers, now with the win last night, 4 consecutive, are back in front based on tiebreaker advantages of the Houston Rockets in that 4-5 split for who might host an opening round playoff series. A lot of focus on LA, DRS. But not many hotter teams right now in the association than Detroit basketball. 8 straight wins for the Pistons for the first time since 2008. Looking for 9 as a slight home favorite tonight against a good Denver team that did lose last night on the road in Milwaukee, booked as a favorite. Second leg of a road back-to-back for Denver. They're now a slight underdog, as you can see. Donnie, will the Pistons make it 9 consecutive wins tonight?
I think we're doing it. I do. This line opened up overnight as -1.5 as a favorite here to the road team. The Nuggets now is flipped over to a 1.5 point favorite for the Pistons. Other outlets as high as 2.5 for the Detroit Pistons. Ride that streak till the wheels fall off. It's a Pistons night in Detroit.
We'll continue breaking down the 10-game NBA slate on this Friday and a little bit of college basketball as well. All of that next here on the Early Line. A 10-game slate around the association on this Friday and plenty of great matchups. Can the Detroit Pistons win 9 consecutive games? Right, in their first 8-game win streak since 2008, the 07-08 season for Detroit. Last year they won a playoff game, and right now the Pistons in prime position to get back to the playoffs. 33-26. 5-game lead now over Orlando for that 6-7 split on the right side of the play-in tournament bubble, meaning you don't have to deal with the play-in tourney. That would be Detroit by 5 games. Will be a lot to make up for Orlando and for Detroit to fall out of before the end of this regular season. Now let's head to Memphis. A Memphis matchup tonight between the Grizz and the New York Knicks. 4-point spread in favor of the Grizzlies at home, 244.5. Now, New York, as we know, Donnie, 0-7 straight up against the 3 NBA clubs that have won at least 40 games this year. The Cavs and the Celtics out east, the Oklahoma City Thunder out west. Memphis, second best record in the Western Conference, but only 38 wins. Same amount for the New York Knicks. Does that benefit the Knickerbockers on the road tonight?
Yeah, tonight's the night. Knicks get it done. I think they can win this basketball game. You see that line at -3.5. It's actually a little bit higher. It's -4 right now currently at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Nobody else across there having higher than that. Some 3.5s are still out there. You look at that total. It is high. Why? Because the Knicks are a high-scoring team in Memphis. Take this back a couple of years. Like, what are you kidding me? 244.5. That's like 2 games between these two teams. Not anymore under Tibbs, but also understand the Knicks did beat the Philadelphia 76ers at the Garden, which everybody beats the Sixers. But in that game, they did hold out Karl Anthony Towns, get him rested. He should be back in the lineup tonight. So Brunson, Bridges, Hart, Anunoby, and Karl Anthony Towns there. It's going to be a great basketball game. But tonight is the night where the Knicks finally show up against a quality opponent on the road with the ability to win that game outright. I won't take it money line. I'll take the 4, and I'll watch it play out.
So the Knicks, of course, DRS, have been an underdog for all 7 of those losses against the teams that we have mentioned, or at least in 6 of the 7 against Cleveland, Boston, and OKC. They are 2-6 against the spread. New York as an underdog this year. 0-6 ATS as a dog against the 40-win club. But their 2 victories and covers as an underdog against the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. But a 2-6 ATS mark for New York. That's technically the worst cover percentage of any team booked as an underdog this season around the NBA. Yeah. Before we turn our attention to college basketball, any other game on this 10-game Friday night docket DRS in the NBA really catch your eye?
I'll tell you what catches your eye, which is another anomaly. Do you know who's playing again tonight, Ben? At 9 p.m. Eastern, out there, semi-West Coast? Pelicans and the Suns.
Yeah.
Posted price 7.5 at this point. Now, what does that tell me? You probably don't want to play Zion on a back-to-back, but I don't care. Does that mean like the Suns like, hey, must-win situation, let's get everybody back on the court? Like, how, once again, could you take the Phoenix Suns laying that many points when they can't beat anybody of any consequence at this point? How?
I don't know. There is no justification for saying yes. It is a second leg of a back-to-back in the same venue for both teams. And for whatever reason, despite the Pelicans having the second worst record in the Western Conference, they are playing a lot better basketball. I actually think we can point to the reason. It's Zion Williamson being healthy in the fold, in the rotation, and performing very well each and every night. His first career triple-double, a 27-point triple-double last night to lead New Orleans to the outright victory as a 7-point dog against the Suns. You can't keep backing Phoenix. You cannot keep expecting the Suns to turn things around or the 76ers to find their footing. There is too large of a sample size that would tell you otherwise. Intriguing game, DRS, just one that catches my eye. Indiana, 4.5-point road favorite tonight in Miami against the Heat. The Pacers trying to hold off the Bucks for the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference to host the opening round of the postseason. Miami firmly right now in the play-in tournament position in the Eastern Conference. 4.5-point spread in favor of Indiana. 225 in a hook is that total.